Bonsoir. That's the end of my French. I'm a retired chemistry professor, and I first got involved with this issue of waste management 29 years ago when they tried to build an incinerator in our northern New York region. And I had no idea then that this would occupy the next 29 years of my life. It would take me to 62 different countries with about 2,500 presentations like this. I got it down here. All this is summed up in a book I published last year called The Zero Waste Solution. And the foreword to this book was written by Jeremy Irons. And the reason he did that is that recently he hosted this movie called Trashed. And I was in the movie, and I asked him if he'd write the foreword. My book essentially begins where this movie ends. It's rather a horror story with the problems of incineration, landfills, dumping plastics into the sea. And the subtitle of the book is Untrashing the Planet, One Community at a Time. Sustainability, the whole point is that zero waste is a stepping stone to sustainability. We would need 4 planets if everybody consumed like Americans. We would need 2 planets if everybody consumed like Europeans. Meanwhile, we have India and China copying our consumption patterns. And obviously, we only have 1 planet. Something's got to change. And the best place to start that change is with waste. Because we all of us, except the very poor, make waste, and we make it every day. And all the time we're doing that, we're part of a non-sustainable way of living on this planet. But with good political leadership, which is rare, but with good political leadership, we could all be part of a movement towards sustainability with the simple acts of dealing with our waste. So as far as sustainability is concerned, every time we bury something, every time we burn something, we have to go back to square one. It's business as usual. We move no closer to sustainability. Whereas every ton that we compost, every ton that we reuse, every ton that we recycle or avoid takes us in the right direction towards sustainability. The right direction is to move as close as possible to zero waste as we can get. So I'm going to talk about the 10 steps to zero waste. This is practical stuff. It's common sense. Anybody out there could have worked this out. But although the steps are simple, the goal is very, very big to move towards a sustainable society. Step 1 is source separation. These 10 things make waste. They make waste by mixing things together, but if we organize them, we can separate and reclaim the resources. The second step is door-to-door collection. Make it simple for people. And here's the simple system in San Francisco. Once a week, they pick up 3 containers, 1 for the recyclables, 1 for the compostables, and 1 for the residuals. In Italy, they have a different system. I think it's a more elegant system. The same trucks pick up different materials on different days. So on Mondays, they pick up the organics. On Tuesdays, the mixed recyclables. On Wednesday, the paper. Thursday, the residual fraction, and so on. And they're copying that system now in Spain. Step 3 is composting, more important than recycling, because composting, we need the compost back to the soil, back to organic agriculture to close that loop. And every time we compost, we're retaining the carbon, we're not contributing to global warming. So here's the composting facility for San Francisco. It's surrounded by farmland. The farmers and the winemakers are using this compost, 200 vineyards, to make their wine. And the farmers are using the compost to grow fruit and vegetables, which go back to San Francisco. And here in San Francisco, the municipality has had a good idea, and that is to offer an economic incentive to both restaurants and hotels, that it's 25% cheaper to put out clean organics. But we really want clean organics, and that's why the municipality is also sending out teams of educators to explain to the kitchen workers exactly what goes into the green container. Step 4 is recycling, which you've all heard about. This is the recycling facility in San Francisco on Pier 96. Here are the separation lines. And a nice thing about this, that those workers that you see there, they own the company. The company owns the recycling, the composting, and the collection contract. They don't own the landfill, so they have no incentive to that. And these workers are sharing in the profits that they're making from recycling, from composting. Step 5, reuse and repair centers, which I hope in the future will become community centers, recreating the village within the anonymous city. But here's an example, Urban Ore in Berkeley, California. This has been running for 30 years, and they're grossing $3 million a year selling these reusable products. And there are 27 full-time, well-paid jobs, very stable jobs. Some of these workers have worked there for 25 years. On the right-hand side, you see the kind of household goods that they sell. But in addition to that, building materials is a very big item. So here you see literally hundreds of doors and other building materials. Now, over on the other side of the country in Burlington, Vermont, they're not only doing all that, but they're also taking people from the street, unemployed people, unskilled people, and teaching them how to repair large appliances, small appliances, electrical goods, and electronic goods. And they're also linked up with a deconstruction company, which is taking buildings in the reverse order that they went up, using some of these materials again in building and also for value added. Some of the wood is being converted into beautiful furniture that you see here. So these reuse and repair centers can be used for poverty relief, job creation, job training, linked to deconstruction, linked to other value-added enterprises, used for community development, and as I said, to fight over consumption, we need to recreate the village in the big anonymous city. Now, a lot of this is online. A lot of what I'm talking about is online in a series of videotapes I made a few years ago on the road to zero waste. And if you're interested, you can watch them there. I'm afraid they're all in English. Now, you can also have fun with this. The Swedes don't have much fun. It's too cold. There's not enough sunshine. But their reuse and repair operation in Gothenburg, they have a lot of fun. When you go in, there's a band playing. As you walk around, there are clowns to entertain the kids. When you go to the toilet, it's an art gallery, and you can choose a painting when you go out. But my favorite is this dog. This amazing dog can separate mixed recyclables into 6 different categories. An amazing dog. The furniture is laid out beautifully. And again, lots of volunteers to help with repair and so on. Now, step 6. Step 6 is waste reduction initiatives. And there's a whole variety of these going on around the world. I can't possibly cover them all, but a few highlights. In Ireland, the government put a 15-cent tax on plastic shopping bags. And to everybody's amazement, in 1 year, they reduced the use of these bags by 92%. And the other 12 million euros for the people, the 8%, is gone into their recycling fund. In Ontario, Canada, they have been reusing glass beer bottles for 60 years. Each bottle goes around 18 times. They're collecting 98% of them back. It's saving the company money. There's 2,000 jobs involved in collecting and cleaning this. This is a zero-waste company. They actually recycle more than they produce because other cardboard from other companies is also being recycled. And no municipality on Ontario has the problem of what to do with beer bottles. The company does it all itself. In Italy, some supermarkets now allow you to refill your own bottles of shampoo and detergents. But my favorite is this store, Efficorta, in Capanari, near Lucca in Tuscany. There, when you go in, there are 60 taps. There are taps for detergents, taps for shampoo, for water, for milk, for beer, for honey, for olive oil, and my favorite, for wine. And as you're tasting this, as you're doing down along there, you can see where the wine is coming from. And when you've chosen the one you like, you refill your own bottle. Step 7, economic incentives. This may seem very simple, but it's very effective. It's the pay-by-bag system. Obviously, your waste is paid for somewhere in the municipal taxes, but then you can have a surcharge. Well, there's no surcharge for the compostables. They're free. There's no surcharge for the recyclables. They're free. But the residual fraction, the more you make, the more you pay. And what you pay should be the total cost of handling that residual fraction. Now, step 8 is the most important if we really want to get to zero waste. And that is to build in front of the landfill a residual separation or screening facility. In Nova Scotia, then, these are built in front of the landfill. Here at the top there, you see this. I can't point to it, but it's I guess I could if I knew how to operate this, but I'm frightened it might do something. So I think you can see at the top the separation facility, and you see the road. The road only goes to the facility. It doesn't go to the landfill. So everything has to be separated in this building. And so the bags come in. They're opened in this system which doesn't crush anything. Then paid workers separate out more recyclables, more toxics. And the dirty organic fraction is not touched. This goes all the way to the end of the conveyor belt. It's then shredded, goes into troughs. The material is turned, and after 18 days of composting, it's ready to go out in the curing pads, which you can see top left before it goes to the landfill. So the object of this exercise is not to produce a compost to use, to sell, but to stabilize it above ground before it does damage underground. Now, into this, I'd like to see a zero waste research center, which would study the non-recyclable fraction. I'd like to see the use of professors and students involved in this. This is their laboratory for sustainability. And the message to industry from the community is if we can't reuse it, recycle it or compost it, then industry shouldn't be making it. We need better industrial design for the 21st century. So that's step 9, better industrial design. Here you see a very small rudimentary zero waste operation in Italy. One of the things that came out of that was to get a local company to make reusable diapers instead of disposable ones. Also put some pressure on Lavazza not to use these one-serving coffee capsule for every cup of coffee that you make. Step 10 then is the interim landfill, the landfill that we want to use less and less as time progresses for the non-recyclables and the dirty organic fraction which has been stabilized. So to reach zero waste, we need a combination of community responsibility and industrial responsibility. For community responsibility, it's the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle, and compost. For industrial responsibility, we introduce the 4th R, redesign, which is the one that we've forgotten all these years. We've assumed the community should do everything. So there it is in total, the 10 steps. What I like about it is again, it starts with everybody. Everybody can be involved with this. But by the time we get to steps 8 and 9, we're bringing on some of the brightest minds in our society, our professors, our students, and great industrial designers. The first person who talked about zero waste in the world was Leonardo da Vinci 500 years ago. He said there's no such thing as waste. Then once we've done that, we should link zero waste with other aspects of sustainability, with those bright minds, linked to sustainable agriculture, sustainable architecture, and so on. So this plan is better for the economy, more jobs. It's better for our health, less toxics. It's better for our universities, more meaning, more relevance. It's better for the planet. It's more sustainable. And it's better for our children because it offers more hope for the future. And how far have we got? Well, in San Francisco, 850,000 people, very little space, 50% diverted from disposal in 2000. That was up to 80% in 2011, and their goal for 2020 is zero waste or very close. And then in Italy, we have over 200 communities have declared zero waste. Over 200 are getting more than 70%, some are getting more than 80%, some even over 90%, and very quickly. Salerno went from 18 to 72% diversion in just 2 years. And the whole province of Flanders, the Flemish-speaking part of Belgium, is 73% diversion. So the 5 R's again: reduce, reuse, recycle, redesign for zero waste. And the 5th R is respect for the waste pickers. We have millions of people around the world who are earning a living from waste, but it's dangerous, it's dirty, and we have to get a clean operation. They're doing that in Brazil. I was in Brazil on Sunday, and here you see the waste pickers now being organized in a cooperative to pick up the waste from door to door. They've got permission to do that. They have these little trucks that get the material to the recycling operations and reclaiming those materials. So I want to stress this. Zero waste is not just about recovering material resources. It's about recovering people. People. Respect. And there we have, on Sunday, I went to this little exhibition of photographs of what they call the catadores, this cooperative of waste pickers, and you see these photographs around barrels, beautiful photographs around these barrels. So you see a catadores, a waste picker there, you see another woman there, and I just want to end with this. That woman I'm pointing to there said to her waste-picking family, I want to go to university. And the family just said, no way, there's no way that you're going to. But she was absolutely determined to go to university, and she did. She did. So here is, if you like, this is hope that somebody from the lowly world, that dangerous, dirty world of waste picking, with the evolution that's going on in Brazil, there's over 1 million catadores in Brazil. She now has hope for the future. So as far as incineration is concerned, much more goes up in smoke than dioxins and toxic metals. We're talking waste of taxpayers' dollars, jobs, energy, small business opportunities, flexibility, vision. I could go on and on and on. So a modern incinerator looks better. This one looks beautiful in Brescia, but it's attempting to perfect a bad idea. Our task in the 21st century is not to get better at destroying things. Our task in the 21st century is to stop making packaging and products that have to be destroyed. That is the central message to zero waste, and I thank you very much for listening.